All right, I'm going to show you something. So you're going to get spun around. Hopefully I don't lose you. If I lose you, then, you know. This is our spring break. This happened in the video, probably still on my YouTube channel, where I got I had Dave go outside and I had a umbrella, like a beach umbrella, and I came running down seriously, this is just making me want to just stay home with hot chocolate. I had a beach umbrella and I put on a tank top and shorts and I came running outside yelling something about spring break, and I basically laid down in the snow. It was pretty cold, but I thought that this morning when I saw this, I was like, what? This happened last year, where we had this beautiful weather, like literally the past, I would say 4 days have been absolutely fantastic. And now I wake up and I'm like, what the crap? It's snowing. Good morning, Amber. Hello. I don't want to live in the negative though, right? So your other favorite shirt, yeah. I don't want to live in the negative though. So I'm going to live in the moment. I'm just like, it is what it is. It's a beautiful day still, right? And maybe I will take some hot chocolate to work this morning and just make the best of it. Because really, heaven knows it's going to be gone in like 3 days, probably. Not even, maybe. It'll melt so fast. So we need the moisture. So I'm excited. It's, snowing in the mountains. We need the water. It's great. It's beautiful. Nature's having a moment. Oh, goodness. Okay. So I was thinking about what to talk about this morning. And honestly, I am 100% at a complete loss. So this is what we're going to do. I used to do this thing where I would scroll through Facebook and talk about stuff. And it's kind of funny. So depending on what we see or what we find leads us into a discussion. All right. So number one. Ooh, I like this. See how that works? Right off the bat. Oh, Allison, happy birthday if you watch this. Always believe that something wonderful is going to happen, even with all the ups and downs. So I actually have a Post-it note, and it is at work, and it is laminated. I laminated a Post-it note, and it says exactly that. Always believe something beautiful will happen, is what my Post-it note says. I wrote this Post-it note. Hello, Maurice. Hello. I almost said happy birthday. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Maurice is joining us from Canada. It says, always believe something beautiful will happen. So I recall writing this Post-it note, and it was after, so I found out that I was expecting. So we have Tayson, right? Dave and I got married. Dave and I got married, and then we had Tayson like right away. We were super excited because both of us in our previous marriages didn't have the opportunity to have any more kiddos. So when we got remarried, we were like, wait a minute, we can have more children. And so we decided that we wanted to have 2 kiddos, and we wanted to have them really close together. Also, because of our age, we're like, let's just do it. Let's have them really close together, and let's just, just do the crazy. So we had Tayson right away, got pregnant, no issues, super great, easy pregnancy, no problems at all. He was a great baby. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to do this. So I started trying to get pregnant right away because we just wanted them super close. And I believe, and I didn't, at some point I stopped keeping track, but basically is what would happen is I would get pregnant, and then about week 6, I would lose the baby. And so then I would immediately get pregnant again. And then around week 6, I would lose the baby. And so this just kept happening. And at first I was like, lots of things could be going on, right? I wasn't too concerned about it. I just had a really healthy pregnancy. I have 2 other kids. I'd only had 1 miscarriage before. So maybe 2, but that's a normal part of life and it happens. So I wasn't too concerned about it. Then I made it one time to week 10 and I started spotting. So we went in and had an ultrasound and she said, I can see, she actually said, I can see like the, I don't even remember. I can see the attachment. I can see where the baby should be, but I don't actually see the baby. And I was like, okay, just assume that we lost it. She said, either that or you're just you're not as far along as you think you are. And I knew how far I was. So I was like, no, we just lost the baby again. And so at that point, I was like, yeah, we should probably have this checked out because something's going on. So go through the whole rigmarole of doing some simple things that don't take a lot to look into. And they're like, nope, everything seems to be healthy. You're on track for, you're cycling right, whatever. So nothing was really making any sense. And then it happened like a couple more times. And by this point, like I'm emotionally and hormonally just done, right? I can't do it anymore. Like every time I get pregnant, I'm like gaining 5 pounds and losing 5 pounds. It's very much a roller coaster. And so at that point, Dave and I decide that we're just going to talk to a specialist. So we have a phone conference call with the specialist that's further away. And he basically starts explaining to us like what we can do and I have to come down and do all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. We're older, like maybe we just need to accept the fact that we're done. And we did. And so Dave's like, I'm just going to schedule, I'm going to have a vasectomy and we're just going to be done having kids. So that's what we do. So Dave schedules his appointment and off we go on our merry way. So lo and behold, I find out that I'm pregnant again. And so, we're like, okay, probably same thing is going to happen. And the same thing did happen. I start spotting again somewhere about week 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. And so we go in and we do the ultrasound. And this time we can see baby. We can see baby. Baby has a heartbeat. Baby looks fine. So maybe nothing to worry about, right? We leave like super hopeful. We're like, oh, okay, this time, like, yeah, this is crazy. So we're thinking to ourselves, oh, this was the blessing. This was the cool thing. We almost had a vasectomy and now I'm pregnant. So this is really cool. So, everything goes great. Dave actually has his vasectomy and we, then go in for our 20-week appointment where we're going to find out the gender of our baby. So if you haven't followed me along, I have all boys. And so we are, of course, hoping for a little girl. We're in the ultrasound and we have the lady, we're like, we want to know what it is. And she's like, you guys are having a little girl. I'm speechless. Like, I can't even talk. Dave is speechless. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're having a little girl. So amazing. And so everything is like falling into place, right? I'm like, oh, we finally got pregnant. I kept the baby. It's a little girl. Dave almost had a vasectomy. Like the angels are singing and everything's great. And then the ultrasound keeps going for a minute. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I've done this before. Something is up. So the ultrasound tech is like, hey, the doctor's going to come in and talk to you. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I'm still thinking to myself, well, I'm over the age for when they say that you're at a higher risk. So I'm sure the doctor's just going to come in and talk to us about, things that can happen, whatever. Right. So the doctor comes in and honestly, this woman had a horrifying bedside manner. In fact, I actually, because that's what I do. I complained about her because I'm going to tell you what she did, but she came in, tells us without any detail, like, oh, I can see that your baby has a heart defect. And I'm like, okay. you might as well have kicked me in the face. Like, I'm like, well, what does that mean? And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, you're a doctor. Like, what do you mean you don't know? And she's like, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. I'm just going to tell you that you need to make an appointment to go down to a specialist. And so there, Dave and I sit, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do, because I'm like, a heart defect as in like she can never be a runner in a, a cross country race, or a heart defect as in she's going to die. Like, what? Seriously, right? And the lady won't tell me anywhere. So I'm like, whatever. So now I'm just like, I don't even know. Like, I'm emotionally, I don't know. I don't know if I should be devastated. I should be happy that we're having a girl. This is just going to mean she can't play soccer. Like, I have no idea what this means. So I get dressed, and Dave and I go to walk out of the room. And this is where all hell breaks loose, because I'm like, no, you don't do this kind of stuff to people. So we open the door, and literally there's just a hallway. And right in front of us is computer screens. There's like a little nurse's desk set up. And so as we open the door, literally 5 feet away sits like 3 of the techs and the doctor. And they're looking at my ultrasound, chatting about it like it's some kind of science experiment, and saying like, oh my gosh, can you believe that? Like, look at this. I've never seen this before. And I was pissed. I was so pissed, because I walked out and I was like, what the hell? I'm like, I'm going through like the worst moment of my life, and you guys are sitting out here looking at my ultrasound like this is some kind of, like science experiment for you. So I was livid. I was livid with the lack of information I was given. I was livid that they were looking at my ultrasound like that. Like, do that somewhere else. You don't do that in front of your patient. So yeah, I may have called and reported her as needing to work on some professionalism, which actually helps, because she reached out to me and she's like, you're so right. She said, good morning, Sharon. She said, I made a mistake and I should never have done that. She said, I got so into like, this is just an everyday thing for me, that I forgot to put into perspective, like how my client or how my patient was feeling. So she actually thanked me for it. But anyway, so from that moment on, like we knew baby girl had a heart defect, and it was lots of stuff, but I wrote that Post-it note, always believe something beautiful will happen. Now, I keep that on my computer at work, and one may say, wow, isn't that really hard for you to look at every day? Because my daughter was born. She didn't have any issues for like 3 days, then went into emergency surgery for something completely unrelated to her actual heart defect. She had a digestive issue, and anyways, she was in and out and up and down for the next 26 days. And then ultimately they found something in her heart that they didn't see initially, and they couldn't surgically fix it. There's nothing that they could do. So we had to make the decision to take her off all of her stuff and not prolong her suffering. And she ended up passing away. So some people were like, how do you look at that? No, every day, something beautiful, always believe something beautiful will happen, because people will be like, but something really beautiful didn't happen. And I'm like, oh, but it did. And they're like confused, right? When people come into my office and I have pictures of my little girl hanging on the wall, and they're like, they know, and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, I'm not sorry, because I learned so much from her being here. She is the one who saved Dave and I and our marriage, and set us on a healthy track, because we were in a really unhealthy place. And people would tell us loss of a child, it's either going to make your marriage better, or it's going to make you get divorced. And I would say that is 100% true. So something beautiful did happen. I got to have my little girl for 26 days, and I got to connect with her every single day. And she taught me so much in those 26 days that I would never have been able to learn on my own. And now the beautiful part of it is that she's very much a part of my connection with other people. She's very much what started me on my path of healing. She's very much the reason why I'm talking to you right now. So how many lives has my baby girl helped me to touch? I don't know. I have no idea. But hopefully, if it's even just one person, that gets strength from my story, then that's one person that I could help to brighten their day. So yes, I'm going to leave you with that. Always believe something beautiful can happen. And I know in the moment it feels so ugly. And I know it takes you to your knees and you're like feeling as though nothing can come out of this to be any better. But I'm telling you that it can. And just sit in the moment, sit in the now, do what you can right now. Stop looking at everything in the future. Stop looking at everything in the past. Take a moment and just relax and be in the present. Be right now. Do what you can right now and take it second by second. Stop trying to live in the other dimensions, because living in the right now is the only way that you can get yourself to just relax and feel it and release it. Okay, kids. So yes, I'm sporting Jack. I have to wear Jack socks. Okay. Hello, Tiffany. I know seeing the light in the darkness is a beautiful thing, right? But it can be so hard. Good morning, Mandy. Love you. Sharon, I'm still on here every day. Lisa, thank you. Okay, so I'm wearing Bone Daddy socks. Jack is the king of the pumpkins. You know, I was thinking about it this morning when I was wearing my Jack shirt. Guess what, guys? If you want to talk about someone who doesn't care about what anybody thinks, Jack. Dude, Jack owns it. He's the king of pumpkin land, and he decides that he's going to take over Christmas. I mean, come on now. You want to talk about some confidence? Like, he just owns it like a rock star. He jumps right in. Is he successful? No. His sleigh catches on fire and he burns to the ground. But you know what? He gets up. He gets up, and I have shirts that have Jack and Sally with babies on them, so I know that Jack and Sally live happily ever after. So even if your sleigh's on fire, ride it out to the end. You're going to be fine. Okay, guys, love you lots. Happy snow day if you're in Utah. I don't know, northern Utah. It's so beautiful.